I'm Ugyen from Bhutan, and I'm here to share our story as the first spinal muscular atrophy family in the country. Before sharing my story, I would like to thank Global Genes for this opportunity, and I'm so glad to have this platform to share the story of my family. My daughter Palden, who was diagnosed with spinal muscular atrophy type 2, was born healthy and was nicknamed the tall baby by the doctor at birth. She was growing healthy, and no one ever had any doubt that she would grow up into a tall, beautiful young lady until my mother noticed some weakness in her legs at the age of 6 months. With the concern, me and my husband, we took her to the National Referral Hospital in our capital city a couple of times, where we were told that there is nothing much of a concern. This is also where we met a volunteer from United States who was actually the first person to suspect Palden as a case of spinal muscular atrophy. She suggested us to take Palden outside Bhutan to get all the medical examinations done to rule out the underlying cause, as those medical examination and tests are not available in our country. So this was when me and my husband, we decided to take Palden to a hospital called Apollo in Kolkata, India, to get all her medical examinations done. So this is when we embarked on our very first foreign trip, and that too with lots of questions, but we hardly had any answers. On our journey to Kolkata, the only thing or the thought that we have or we know is that we are going to a hospital called Apollo in Kolkata, and there is no other information or no other plan about how we are going to proceed or how we are going to proceed there on arrival. On arrival in Kolkata airport, we fully laid our trust on a cab driver and requested a cab driver to drop us at a hotel near a hospital called Apollo. And even today, we are so grateful that the cab driver not just dropped us to a guest house that is so close by the hospital, but that guest house over the years became our second home. But Palden's journey to diagnosis was full of hassles. On arrival, just few days after arrival in Kolkata, our worst nightmare turned into reality. Palden caught severe pneumonia infection, and she required an emergency admission. After a few days of admission, we were informed by the doctors that there is really a severe underlying issue, and that this severe pneumonia might also be rooted in that. And this is when me and my husband, we realized that the severe pneumonia that Palden had when she was 2 months old was the first bell that SMA rang to us, but we were ignorant. We didn't bother to find out why. So after so many medical examinations, finally, at the age of 9 months in 2009, Palden was diagnosed as the first clinically diagnosed SMA patient of Bhutan. Those days, the best thing that we knew about the disease was like the disease has no cure, it is progressive, and Palden may not be able to stand or walk on her feet, and she might not pass her second birthday. We were shattered and in denial, but then we realized that we don't have any other choice than to accept it and live with it and confront it. Back home, no one was aware of SMA. Everyone I talked to about it needs an explanation of what is it, how, why. So many questions, and sometimes I lack answers. I really didn't have. After that, visits to Kolkata became more frequent, and these frequent journeys over the years were never an easy one, and packed with emotional stress, not to mention ever severe financial stress. We make plans, but the decision was and is always ruled by SMA. We really had a very small circle of support but I know it was the strongest support that I ever had. Both my parents, who were farmers, would come forth with even the smallest saving they had, and my sister, who was on 4.5 year study in Thailand, never visited, with the sole aim to use that fund resourcefully and meaningfully to treat my child. No matter how long we ended up in Kolkata, my elder children never missed a class, never missed a meal, because they were in the hands of my mother, my sister, my parents. I'm so grateful. Due to the lack of medical professionals and facilities available in Bhutan, we had to be able to monitor and manage the disease at home. We still have to stock up all our emergency medicines from Kolkata, learn all the exercises, and continue back home. Dealing with the disease progression and meeting the requirements of the disease has been the toughest. The internet was the only and the biggest source of information, and today I am here with you all because of it. SMA is a rich disease, a very, very, very rich disease. It's not a condition that most of the world can afford it. Aside from medicines, there are many more real concerns we need to manage and worry about while we care for our child. We have to struggle to create solutions to common problems that rest of the world may not even have to worry about. Basic amenities like accessible toilet seat, accessible chair, a bench for her to lean on, accessible chair, table, and all these are mostly created by ourselves. SMA is not just a disease, but it is a condition that deprives a family of almost everything: economical, psychological, and financial burden. But that is not the end of it. I have learned that living with SMA is hard, but not harder than convincing the people of its difficulty. For us, Palden, being able to cut a piece of paper is the biggest bundle of joy that erases all the fears of recent ICU admission. The bonding of the family, the maturity of other children was such a joy that the scattered pieces are joined together to carve a beautiful memory each day. But ultimately, we are living in a human community, and sometimes some part of the community makes your life hardest more than the disease itself. A neighbor mockingly mimicking you, how you carry your child because she can't walk. An ignorant comment of, "Wow, I have never seen such a severely disabled child. Why are you educating her, as she won't be able to do anything? Is it a result of failed attempt of abortion?" Discrimination and stigmatization has become the biggest part of our lives, and each day is a new day of learning to accept and live. Life changed with SMA, and as Palden grew up, the challenges have never ever been changing and difficult. Unfortunately, in our country, we don't have the support staff who take care of children when they go to school. This has forced us to take some very difficult decisions. Deciding to live as a family with only one income of roughly $400 per month was not ideal. Definitely not ideal. But it became necessary. Really, really necessary. The choice was either to educate Palden or not. There is general lack of empathy, support, and understanding of the difficulties that the children and families of rare disease face. But in the midst of all struggles, Palden always rose up much stronger and determined each time. Currently, Palden doesn't have a suitable wheelchair, but she never complains. She understands. The pandemic barred her from her doctors in India, but we are extremely glad that despite all the odds, the child who was never thought to be living beyond her second birthday is now a beautiful, intelligent, smart teenager of 13 studying in 5th grade. But we can't change the fact that no matter how strong or determined Palden is, no matter how much effort we put in, the progression of the disease is never going to stop, limiting her mobility even further. Sometimes there is nothing we can do but just let it be. Although there are treatments available for SMA, Palden has not been fortunate enough to get one. And the price of treatments can never be met by my family. With all these years living with the adversities of SMA, I realize it is the willingness to integrate, acceptance, resilience, determination, and the strength to confront it and just keep moving to be the reason for change, so that no future family in Bhutan walks my journey. SMA is definitely a rare disease, but it's not absent. It is the question of understanding the prevalence or how much it goes undiagnosed. I will continue to create awareness of the disease, and we don't deny that we are living each day in fear of what will happen next. But that won't stop us. We don't know. We really don't know, and we don't have the answer. But all I know is that I will never give up hope, and I will do everything I can do to save my child. This is our story in a smaller version. Thank you for being here for my story and being a part of our journey henceforth. Thank you so much. Kadinche and Tashidale.